The Smiling Man Terror in the Amityville Horror House. The Amityville Horror House stood as a dark silhouette against the moonlit sky, its windows like hollow eyes staring into the abyss. Sarah and her friends, Jake, Lisa, and Eric, had heard the rumors. A grinning entity known as the Smiling Man haunted the place, drawing in the curious only to leave them broken or missing. But they were thrill seekers, and fear was a challenge they couldn't resist. "This is just another urban legend," Jake scoffed as they stepped through the creaking front door. "We'll take some pictures, tell some spooky stories, and leave." Inside, the air was thick with decay. The walls seemed to breathe, and the wooden floor groaned under their weight. Despite Jake's bravado, the group couldn't shake the feeling that they were being watched. "Let's split up to cover more ground," Lisa suggested. The others hesitated, but eventually agreed, each taking a flashlight and venturing into different parts of the house. Sarah wandered into the dining room, where a long table was set with dusty, cobweb-covered plates. She froze when she noticed something peculiar. A single chair at the head of the table was clean, as if recently occupied. A quiet chuckle echoed behind her. "Jake?" she called out, her voice trembling. No reply. In the hallway, Lisa was drawn to a large mirror. As she approached, she saw her reflection, but something was wrong. Her reflection smiled unnaturally wide, its mouth stretching far beyond what was humanly possible. Lisa screamed, stumbling backward as the mirror shattered into 1,000 pieces. Upstairs, Jake found a child's bedroom. A single toy, a jack-in-the-box, sat in the middle of the floor. Curious, he turned the crank. The tune was hauntingly off-key. When the jack finally popped out, it was a tiny doll with a grotesque grin. The lights flickered, and Jake turned to see a tall, shadowy figure standing in the doorway. The Smiling Man. He was impossibly tall, with limbs that seemed to stretch like a spider's. His face was pale and smooth, except for an enormous, toothy grin that never wavered. "Run," Jake whispered to himself, but his legs wouldn't move. In the basement, Eric found a series of crude drawings on the walls, stick figures with wide, unnatural smiles. One drawing showed 4 stick figures entering a house, followed by a 5th figure, grinning, standing over their lifeless bodies. "Guys, we need to leave," Eric shouted, bolting upstairs. Sarah, Lisa, and Eric regrouped in the foyer, but Jake was missing. "Where's Jake?" Sarah asked, panic setting in. Before anyone could answer, the lights went out. The sound of footsteps echoed, slow and deliberate. "He's here," Lisa whispered, her voice trembling. The Smiling Man emerged from the shadows, his grin glowing in the darkness. He moved with unnatural speed, his elongated limbs reaching out for them. The group screamed and ran, but the house seemed to twist and change. Hallways leading to dead ends and staircases looping back on themselves. Lisa tripped, and the Smiling Man was upon her in an instant. Her screams were cut short as the others watched in horror. Sarah and Eric finally found the front door and burst outside, collapsing on the lawn. They turned back to see the Smiling Man standing in the doorway, his grin wide as ever. The door slammed shut and the house fell silent. Jake and Lisa were never seen again, and Sarah and Eric were left with nightmares of the Smiling Man, his horrific grin haunting them for the rest of their lives.